June 10th, 1944. England. Dear family, what I'm about to tell you sounds like fiction. It's not. I have official documentation now that the operation is declassified. June 5th to 6th, 1944. I created a phantom army using one radio transmitter and my voice. 30,000 American soldiers, complete division, command staff, supply units, reconnaissance teams, tank battalions, artillery companies. None of them existed. I invented them, gave them names, ranks, call signs, unit designations, broadcast their communications for 18 continuous hours, used 47 different voices, changed accents, speech patterns, vocabulary, made each officer sound distinct, made the Phantom Army sound real. German radio intelligence intercepted every transmission, analyzed them, concluded massive American force preparing to invade Pas-de-Calais. They were right about the massive force, wrong about everything else. The actual invasion hit Normandy, while German commanders kept 2 Panzer divisions at Calais waiting for my Phantom Army that would never arrive. 18 hours of voice acting, 18 hours of radio deception, 6 hours of German forces held in wrong position during the most critical phase of D-Day. American theater training meets American military strategy. We used creativity as a weapon. I can finally tell you everything. Let me start from the beginning. My name is Staff Sergeant David Morrison, radio operator, communications specialist, United States Army Signal Corps. And for 6 months before D-Day, I was being trained to become an actor. Not officially. The training wasn't called acting classes. It was called Advanced Psychological Operations. But that's what it was. Acting training, voice work, character development, improvisation. January 1944, I was pulled from regular radio duty and assigned to a classified unit in London. 20 radio operators, all with communications experience, all with one additional qualification. We'd all done theater or radio drama before military service. The commanding officer explained our mission. Gentlemen, the invasion of Europe will require more than guns and ships. It will require deception. We need to make the Germans believe we're invading somewhere we're not. We'll do this through phantom armies, fake radio traffic, and your voices. We spent 6 months preparing, learning to create distinct character voices, mastering different accents, studying military protocol so our fake communications would sound authentic, practicing 18-hour endurance sessions because that's how long we'd need to maintain the deception. The goal: make German radio intelligence believe that massive Allied forces were preparing to invade Pas-de-Calais. The most obvious invasion point, the shortest distance from England to France. The reality: the actual invasion would hit Normandy, 200 miles west, less obvious, less defended, but only if Germans believed Calais was the target, only if they kept forces there, waiting for an invasion that would never come. That's where we came in, 20 radio operators with theater training, creating phantom armies through voice and radio waves. Mom, Dad, remember when you encouraged me to join the drama club in high school? Remember when I did radio plays for the local station? You said those skills would serve me well someday. You had no idea how right you were. Those theater skills, voice projection, character work, accent variation, became military weapons. American education that valued creativity and communication created soldiers who could fight battles without firing shots. That's the American advantage. We don't just train fighters, we train thinkers. Creative problem solvers who can turn any skill into tactical advantage. The training was intensive. We studied German intelligence procedures, learned how they analyzed radio traffic, what patterns they looked for, what would make transmissions seem authentic versus suspicious. We learned that German radio analysts were sophisticated. They could identify individual transmitter, fingerprints. Each radio has unique signal characteristics. Recognize voice patterns, identifying individual speakers. Map unit structures, determining organization from communication patterns. Track movement, following units through transmission locations. Assess strength, estimating force size from traffic volume. Our deception had to fool all of these analysis methods. We needed consistent transmitter use, same radio, same signal fingerprint. Voice variation, multiple distinct speakers, large force. Realistic protocols, proper military communications procedures. Logical content, believable orders, reports, requests. Appropriate volume, enough traffic to indicate large force, not so much it seems suspicious. And we needed to maintain this deception for months, long enough that German intelligence would build a complete picture of our phantom forces, long enough they'd commit resources based on that intelligence. The operation was called Fortitude South, part of a larger Allied deception plan. My specific role, radio operator for the fictional 12th Corps of the equally fictional 1st United States Army Group. On paper, this corps commanded 30,000 men. In reality, it was me, a transmitter, and a script outline. June 5th, 1944. 2,000 hours. I began my 18-hour broadcast marathon. The warehouse in Dover was cold, one radio transmitter, one chair, one table with notes, one thermos of coffee that would prove completely insufficient. I had 3 things with me. First, a roster of 47 fictional officers I'd created over 6 months, each with a name, rank, personality, voice characteristics, and background story I'd memorized. Second, an operational timeline, what a real corps would be doing in the 18 hours before an invasion. Unit movements, supply requests, reconnaissance reports, command decisions, all scripted in outline form, but requiring improvisation to sound natural. Third, knowledge that German radio intelligence was listening, recording, analyzing, building assessments that would reach German high command within hours. The stakes couldn't be higher. If Germans believed my phantom army, they'd hold forces at Calais. If they didn't believe it, those forces would be free to reinforce Normandy, where real American soldiers would be landing in a few hours. My performance had to be perfect. 2,000 hours, first transmission. Colonel James Morrison speaking, my deepest voice, command authority, Midwest accent, calm professional. Charlie 6-9er to command, 12th Corps forward elements in position, awaiting final coordination orders. Morrison out. Short. Professional. Exactly what a Corps commander would transmit 18 hours before major operation. I waited 15 minutes. Let German analysts absorb that transmission. Imagine them recording it, noting the call sign, identifying the voice, beginning to build their intelligence picture. 2015 hours. Second transmission. Lieutenant David Chen reporting. My youngest voice. Slightly higher pitch. Precise diction. Eager junior officer. Recon 27 to Charlie 6-9er. Reconnaissance sweep complete. Sector Baker 4. No enemy activity observed. Roads clear for vehicle movement. Chen out. Different voice. Different call sign. Different unit. But connected to the first transmission, reporting to the same command structure. Building the organizational chart in German analysts' minds. 2030 hours. Third transmission. Major Robert Williams, coordinating. Southern accent, experienced, calm under pressure. Artie 1-5 to Charlie 6-9er. Artillery battalion in position, coordinates as briefed. Ammunition stocks at 95%. Ready for fire missions on your command. Williams out. 3 different voices, 3 different units, 3 different accents and speech patterns, all reporting to the same phantom corps, all building the illusion of a massive coordinated force. I continued. Every 15 minutes. Different voice, different character, different unit. Captain O'Brien, Irish-American supply officer, gregarious, detail-oriented. Lieutenant Jackson, African-American reconnaissance officer, precise, professional. Yes, our Phantom Army was integrated, because that's American values even if reality sometimes fell short. Major Schmidt, German-American, first generation, slight accent, proving American diversity. Captain Rodriguez, Hispanic tanker, confident, experienced. Each voice distinct, each personality clear, each transmission authentic military communication. By 0200 hours, 6 hours in, I'd cycled through 23 characters. My throat was getting sore despite the voice training. Coffee was gone. But I couldn't stop, couldn't break character, couldn't let the illusion crack. Because German intelligence was working night shift too, analyzing every transmission, building their assessment, large American force at Dover, corps-level organization, 30,000 men, preparing for major operation, target Calais. And somewhere in the English Channel, real American forces were approaching Normandy. In darkness, in danger, depending on deceptions like mine to keep German reinforcements away from the beaches. I thought about those soldiers, thought about landing craft approaching hostile shores, thought about young Americans who would live or die based on whether German Panzers reached Normandy in time. And I kept performing, 0300 hours. Colonel Morrison again, command voice, calm but urgent. Charlie 6-9er to all units, timeline update. H-hour advanced by 30 minutes. Adjust preparation schedules accordingly. Acknowledge receipt. I waited 2 minutes, then responded as 5 different unit commanders acknowledging the order. 5 different voices, 5 quick transmissions. Exactly what would happen if a real corps commander issued that order. German analysts hearing this. Command structure responsive. Units coordinated. Order acknowledged across multiple subordinate commands. This is real. 0330 hours created crisis, made the Phantom Army face unexpected problem. Lieutenant Chen reporting, worried young voice. Recon 27 to Charlie 6-9er, urgent. Patrol encountered enemy reconnaissance unit, sector Baker 7. Brief firefight, enemy withdrew, may have compromised our position. Request guidance, 30 seconds later. Colonel Morrison responding, calm crisis management. Charlie 6-9er to Recon 27, understood. Maintain position, radio silence after this transmission until 0500 hours. Morrison out, then silence. Radio discipline. Exactly what a real commander would order if concerned about enemy signals intelligence. The crisis was fiction. The response was authentic military protocol. German analysts would note, Americans aware of security, responding appropriately to potential compromise. This reinforces authenticity. That's American military training teaching me not just to perform characters, but to think like real commanders, to make decisions those characters would actually make, to maintain deception through realistic responses to fictional situations. 0500 hours, 9 hours in, I broke my imposed radio silence. Created morning stand of reports, multiple units checking in, building tempo toward the fictional invasion hour. My voice was shredding, throat raw. But I had 9 more hours, half the performance remaining. I cycled through characters faster now, morning briefing period, multiple units reporting status, building the illusion of coordinated pre-invasion activity. Major Williams, artillery ready. Captain O'Brien, supplies distributed. Lieutenant Jackson, reconnaissance confirms clear routes. Major Schmidt, tank battalion fueled and armed. Every voice still distinct despite fatigue. Every character still authentic. American acting training meets American determination. I would not fail those soldiers landing at Normandy. 0630 hours. Created the invasion postponement. This was the critical moment. The actual Normandy invasion was launching, but my phantom Calais invasion needed to be delayed. Had to give plausible reason why 30,000 troops wouldn't be invading Calais today. Colonel Morrison, broadcasting. Controlled frustration in voice. Charlie 6-9er to all units, weather deterioration, high command postponing H-hour by 24 hours. Maintain current positions, further orders to follow. Morrison out. Then, I broadcast frustration from subordinate commanders, kept it subtle. Professional soldiers disappointed by delay but following orders. Major Williams acknowledging with barely suppressed frustration. RD-1 5 copies. Standing by. Captain O'Brien with supply concerns. Supply 3-2 to Charlie 6-9er. We've distributed pre-invasion rations. Can we sustain another 24 hours? O'Brien out. Colonel Morrison reassuring. Charlie 6-9er to Supply 3-2. Affirmative. Additional supplies en route. Morrison out. German analysts would hear this as Americans preparing major operation. Weather force delay. Troops ready. Invasion postponed but still coming. At Calais. Definitely Calais. And at Normandy, real Americans were landing, fighting, dying, establishing beachheads while German Panzers waited 200 miles away for my phantom army. 1,200 hours, 14 hours in, the operation entered endgame phase. Word came through secure channel. Normandy landings successful. Beachheads established, but German reinforcements were beginning to move. Intelligence estimated we had 6 more hours before German high command would realize Normandy was the real invasion and release Calais reserves. 6 more hours. I had to maintain deception for 6 more hours. I was exhausted, voice nearly gone, throat bleeding slightly, could taste copper. But American soldiers were fighting at Normandy. 6 more hours of deception meant 6 more hours of reduced German resistance. I continued broadcasting. Afternoon routine of a corps waiting to invade tomorrow. Maintenance reports, supply updates, reconnaissance patrols. Mundane military communications that seemed utterly authentic because they were utterly boring. That's the secret of good deception. Most military communications are routine. If everything sounds dramatic, it's suspicious. Real armies spend 95% of their time on boring logistics. I made my phantom army boring, made them real through mundane detail. 1,800 hours, 18 hours in, I broadcast final transmission. Colonel Morrison, one last time. Voice steady despite exhaustion. Command presence maintained to the end. Charlie 6-9er to all units. Maintain current posture. Further orders will be transmitted via secure channels. Radio silence effective immediately. Morrison out. Silence. 18 hours of performance concluded. 47 different characters. Hundreds of transmissions. One continuous deception. I sat in that cold warehouse chair, throat destroyed, voice gone, and waited for confirmation. 1830 hours. Secure message arrived. German 15th Army still positioned at Calais. 2 Panzer divisions held in place. Normandy beachhead secure. Mission success. Well done. German intelligence had believed every word, believed my phantom army was real, kept forces at Calais waiting for an invasion that existed only in radio transmissions and their own analysis. For 6 critical hours, from Normandy H-hour until German high command realized the deception, those Panzers sat at Calais. 6 hours that allowed American forces to establish positions. 6 hours that saved countless lives. I'd fought my battle with voice and creativity. No weapon, no violence. Just American theater training turned into American tactical advantage. Mom and Dad, I know this sounds unbelievable, but it's documented, classified until this month, but now part of the official historical record. Operation Fortitude South was the most successful military deception in history. Multiple components, fake equipment, double agents, false intelligence. My part was small, one radio operator among many, but my 18 hours of voice acting contributed to the larger success. The Germans didn't discover the full deception until weeks after D-Day. By then, Allied forces were too strong to dislodge. The invasion had succeeded. And one reason it succeeded: American creativity. American education that values communication skills. American military innovation that recognized theater training as tactical asset. You always encouraged my interest in radio drama, said communication skills would serve me well. You were right in ways you couldn't have imagined. High school drama club taught me voice control. Local radio station taught me microphone technique. Speech classes taught me accent variation. All of it became military capability. That's what American education does. Teaches broad skills, values creativity alongside technical knowledge, creates soldiers who can think unconventionally, who can turn any talent into advantage. German military was technically superior in many ways. Better tanks, better tactics initially. But they couldn't imagine using theater as warfare. Couldn't conceive that radio drama training would become strategic deception. American military could imagine it, did imagine it. Trained 20 of us to be actors as operators. And it worked. I'm proud to have served this way. Proud that American ingenuity found ways to win without only relying on firepower. Proud that creativity and intelligence were valued as much as courage and strength. The soldiers who landed at Normandy showed incredible bravery. I'll never diminish that. They faced bullets and bombs. Many died. Many were wounded. They're the true heroes. But I'm proud that I helped them. Proud that my 18 hours of voice acting gave them 6 hours of reduced opposition. Proud that American theater training contributed to American military victory. I can't tell you everything about the operation. Some details remain classified, but the core story is now public. Historical record. 20 radio operators, multiple transmitters, weeks of broadcasts, creating phantom armies that existed only in radio waves and German intelligence reports. My assignment was one piece. Others created different phantom units. Together, we built 1st United States Army Group, 30,000 troops that never existed. Commanded by General Patton, who was real but not commanding this fictional force. Germans believed it all. Held entire Army Group at Calais. Kept them there for weeks after D-Day, because they were convinced Normandy was a feint, and the real invasion would still come at Calais. By the time they realized the truth, it was too late. Allied forces were too strong. The invasion had succeeded, and American creativity had contributed to that success. The war isn't over yet. I'm still serving, still doing communications work. Can't say more about current operations, but the D-Day deception is concluded and declassified, so I can finally tell you what I did. I spent 18 hours being 47 different people, creating a phantom army, deceiving German intelligence, contributing to the most important military operation of the war, with nothing but my voice and American training that valued creativity. When I come home, and I will come home, I'll have stories. Some I can tell, some I can't. But this one I can share now. I'm proud to have served, proud to be American, proud that our country values diverse skills and finds ways to use every talent. The Germans thought warfare was only about weapons and tactics. Americans understood warfare is about intelligence, creativity, psychology, communication. We fought them not just with guns, but with ideas. And we won. Tell my younger siblings, study everything. Develop every skill. You never know what will prove valuable. Theater, music, art, science, mathematics, all of it matters. All of it has application. I used radio drama training to fight in World War II. Who would have predicted that? But American education prepared me. American military recognized the value, and American creativity turned performance into victory. That's what makes us strong. Not just our industry or population or resources, our people, our education, our creativity, our willingness to think differently. I miss you all, miss home, miss normal life. But I'm proud to be here, proud to serve, proud to contribute in my own way. The soldiers storming beaches deserve the glory. I'm just a radio operator who did voice impressions for 18 hours. But if those impressions help save American lives, then I serve my purpose. One more thing, Dad. Remember when you said I should use my talents? That everyone has gifts and we should find ways to serve with them? You were right. I found my way to serve. Using gifts you helped me develop. Theater skills you encouraged, communication training you supported. I took your advice, I used my talents, and I helped win a battle. Thank you for that. Thank you for encouraging creativity. Thank you for believing communication skills mattered. They did. They mattered more than you could have known. I'll write again soon. Can't say when I'll be home. But the war is progressing well. We're winning. Not just through force, but through intelligence and innovation. American soldiers are brave. American commanders are skilled. American industry is productive. And American creativity is secretly one of our strongest weapons. Stay safe. Stay proud. Know that your son is serving his country in his own way, and that the education you gave me, the encouragement to develop every skill, made that service possible. Your loving son, Staff Sergeant David Morrison, Signal Corps, United States Army Radio Operations Specialist and amateur actor, P.S. Mom, when the war is over and I'm home, maybe we can revive those family radio plays we used to do. I've got some new character voices I've been practicing, 47 of them actually. Let me know if you want to hear Colonel Morrison or Lieutenant Chen or any of the others. They're quite realistic. Germans certainly thought so. Subscribe for more untold stories where American creativity and intelligence won battles without firing shots, where theater training became tactical weapons, where voice acting saved lives, where American education that values diverse skills created soldiers who could fight in unconventional ways. This is American ingenuity at its finest, recognizing that every talent has military application, that creativity is as valuable as courage, and that thinking differently defeats superior force.